What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back to another episode of Thrash Reviews, where yours truly, Thrash Maniac 99, continues to review upcoming hard rock and heavy metal albums in the calendar year of 2016. And tonight I'm reviewing an album I never got around to when it came out last month, but I finally decided to check it out tonight. The second album from American prog death metal band Black Crown Initiate. So, Black Crown Initiate is a band that formed back in, like in the early 2010s, I believe. Sometimes I can be real fuzzy on some of these things, so let me look it up real quick. Yeah, 2012, so I should just trust myself. They put out a debut EP in 2013 they released themselves called Song of the Crippled Bull, and then they came out with their debut album a year later, The Wreckage of Stars, which got them a lot of acclaim from heavy metal fans. And now this is their second release. Selves We Cannot Forgive is the title of the album. So, very interesting stuff. And this band is from Reading, Pennsylvania. So, another Pennsylvania band trying to get big, like Hailstorms from Pennsylvania. And now you got an extreme band in Black Crown Initiate. So, without further ado, let's take a look and see what this band had to offer this time around. So the opening track is called For Red Cloud, which is quite an interesting opener because of the fact that it kind of integrates a little bit of that 7/8-string guitar sound, but without abusing the influence of the bands such as Meshuggah or Periphery to that extent. You also hear a little bit of mixing of the old prog death metal idea with a little bit of a doomy aspect behind it, because there are certain elements where it gets very doom-laden and very fast at times, like you would hear in like a tech death band to some extent. And also hearing the clean vocals really reminds me of bands such as Mastodon when Brann Dailor, their drummer, sings. It kind of gives me that feeling like as if this band is trying to be like the prog death metal version of bands like Mastodon. Very well possible. But what a hell of a start to kick off the album. Let's continue with the next track, Sorrow Psalm, which is one of my favorite tracks of the album because I just really love the beauty behind it along with the brutality. Then again, that's a theme that really has gone on throughout the entire record. And the guitar playing was on point, the musicianship was excellent. The lyrical themes really deal with a lot of that kind of depressive atmosphere in life, and this song certainly was one of those very dark, brooding lyrical tracks of the album. And the clean vocals again just blew me away. Like the singer is very multi-versed in his voice, kind of like Michael Ockerfeld of Opeth, or even Dan Swano of Edge of Sandy, Witherscape, and so many other bands. So, another excellent track. Let's move on to the next song, which is Belli the Machine, the longest track of the album, right around the middle, and it's 9 minutes in length, and it pretty much takes everything they've done on the previous 3 tracks, but kind of amplify it up, make it more doomy, make it more proggy, make it more brutal, but make it more beautiful. I mean, this band's really got a lot on their minds when it comes to how they want to construct their music, and holy cow, that's all that needs to be said. Then we get towards the end of the album with the song Matriarch, which was about 7.5 minutes, the second longest track of the album, and this was one of arguably my favorite track of the album because of just how much more of the clean vocals got to shine through as opposed to just the death metal vocals. And, wow, the drumming was the star of the show on this song, because the drummer's very multi-talented. Like, he does blast beats very proficiently, but he can play the regular drum beats of a metal band very well as well. But then we get to the final track of the album, Vicious Lives, the only all-clean singing song on the record. And when I heard the song, it kind of took me back to listening to the song Isolation Years by Opeth on Ghost Reveries, where it was a very soft track as the closing track of the regular studio album. This kind of gave me that kind of vibe, but then in the last minute or so, it gets heavy with a heavy riff, but it was still all clean vocals. And just wow. Thrill ride to no end as far as this album goes. So overall, Black Crown Initiate, in their second album into their career, very young band that is out there trying to do some very unique things, trying to combine their influences of groups such as Opeth, Death, Gojira, Mastodon, Cynic, Decapitated, Obscura to some extent. You can hear a little shred of Obscura influence on this record when it comes to the real technical parts, and a little bit of Meshuggah influence at times with those guitar sounds. But overall, this was an album that from top to bottom, not one song was poor. The album was pieced together beautifully. The musicianship was on par. The vocals, like the singer's, like I said, multi-talented in his singing abilities, kind of like Michael Ockerfeld of Opeth again. So overall, 92 out of 100. This is an excellent album. I absolutely loved this album. It was like an emotional ride, but also a very brutal ride because of the certain moments within the album that just make you feel a little uncomfortable because of how evil it might sound. But hey, at the end of the day, this band's all about one thing and one thing only, and that's to make a mark in the genre of progressive death metal. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Peace out, and have a good night.